Okay, so we've just been talking earlier about how sometimes it's really difficult to work out, what your sister's thinking at that time, or what she's really feels like to be Charlotte at that time. Maybe sometimes you were saying it's kind of you think that you know what's happening for Dad, but when you really stop and think about it, sometimes it's more difficult to know than we think. And I'm going to show you about an extremely expensive and really high-tech bit of equipment that we use to help us think about that. And I'm looking at you, Johnny, because I'm kind of guessing that you're probably the most impressive scientist in the room. And I was wondering whether you'd like to kind of try this out first. Earlier we were talking about those times when Charlotte's talking with Dad and they're maybe having a nice chat about something, and then maybe Mum feels a bit left out and gets a bit upset that Dad's not keeping the rules strong enough, and maybe has a little bit of a kind of reminder to Charlotte, and then Charlotte gets a little bit upset, and then Dad getting in. You remember these things? We talked about it, we called it like a car crash, didn't we?
Yeah.
So let's just imagine that's happening. So I'm going to get out this extremely expensive piece of equipment, because it's how doctors sometimes do x-rays and they kind of take a picture of the inside of your head. Well, this is an even more sophisticated, and we call it a mind scan, right? And what it is you have to hold it up in front of the patient here, right? And there's a little place here that says scan done by doctor, so you have to write your name in to say who the doctor is. You better write your name in just to say who it is. Right. Okay. And then you've got to write in who the scan is on, so you better write that, Charlotte. Yeah, and then what was happening. Let's just put maybe something like car crash moment, then you might know what that means. Yeah? Okay. So now we hold up this very, very expensive scan, right? You've got to go with this one, Charlotte. Yeah. Give us a right now. Here we are at that moment when Charlotte was having that conversation with Dad, and all of a sudden, Mum maybe says something about her not coming in at the right time at night. We can put in here, because you are actually the expert. It's not really a very clever machine, is it? What kinds of thoughts do you think might be in Charlotte's mind just at that moment? What kind of feelings maybe she's having? Yeah? What maybe she hopes for? What maybe she's frightened of?